So we'll start off with euro dollar here. So today we see that euro hasn't really done much. The bias here is to the downside for euro at the moment. Now, do expect volatility in euro as well. We have ECB this week, as well as we have UK elections, both of which will impact euro. At the moment, though, just based on technicals here, this is looking bearish. We have seen this drop, initial drop here. Now, price did pull back, but it held below 1.1080. And as long as price holds below this level, 1.1080, I will look for price to drop further. The target here is 1.1020 is the first target, and only if price goes through this would I look for the next one here, which is 1.0980. I do not expect price to get to this level at this point. After ECB or after the UK elections, we could look at that, but for now, for the immediate day, just looking for a bit of a drop into 1.1020, bearish bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one is right into our resistance here. We do have a doji here, which suggests that bias is to the downside. Now, going into elections, this is likely to be very, very volatile, so keep this in mind. Based on this rejection, I will look for a bit of a pullback to the downside for British pound here. And prior to the elections, we could see prices just pull back a bit just as traders adjust their positions. So right now, the target here is 1.3100. So bearish, we could get a pullback all the way up into 1.3170 and then drop from there. Overall, this is still holding its bullish bias here that it has maintained ever since this initial push up. So as the election results come up, expect volatility in this. And if we do see a majority win by the Tories, this is likely to go back up in respect with because of that. But for now, though, we could get a pullback. So first target here is 1.3100 and second target is 1.3020. So I'm looking for a bit of a pullback prior to the elections, but it may not happen. So do keep this in mind. So this is kind of what I'm looking for here. However, if the price just holds up there, then we may not get it. But at this point, I am looking to see if we get that pullback to the downside. So bias here is to the downside. 1.3100 is the first target. 1.3020 is the second target here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one has held in the range at the moment. This is the range that price has been trading in between 0.6860 and 0.6810. It's still stuck within that range. So at this point, bias is bearish because we do have a bearish candle close today. But the problem here is if it does not break below 0.6810, it could go back into the range and price could move higher back towards the top of the range. So keep that in mind. Bias is bearish, though. For that to happen, for price to drop, we do need to see a drop through 0.6810. And once it crosses to the downside here, it opens up this entire move, and then we could see price drop further. So this level, 0.6810, is critical at this point. If it does not drop, we're looking for it to go higher. If it does drop, then I'm looking for a further move to the downside. So bias at this point is bearish and target is 0.6750. New Zealand dollar here, this one has dropped a bit. Price is into resistance at the moment. So as we can see, this is the place where price has reacted multiple times. So it showed a reaction there today and price has dropped. So bias is bearish here. And in this case, I'm looking for a pullback and then a drop, and target here would be 0.6520. So bias is bearish here and potential pullback into 0.6560 and then looking for a drop. First target 0.6520 And then second target here is 0.6480. So bearish bias for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this one has dropped as well. It's holding below this previous support resistance level, and we have a bearish close. So looking for price to drop further here. And target here, first target is 1.3200, and then below that we could see price drop into 1.3180 or even potentially into 1.3170. So bias is bearish here for dollar CAD and potential pullback into 1.3250. Let's take a look at commodities here. We'll start off with silver. With silver here, we do have a pullback into 16.65 here. And as long as price stays below this level, we're likely to see a further drop. So price has been trading in this range for quite some time here, number of days now. Now it did go through on Friday. Today it held below the range. So this shows that there is still bearishness in this, and we could see a further drop. So we could get a potential pullback into 16.65, then looking for it to drop into 16.35, potentially into 16. So bias here is bearish for silver. Gold here, gold hasn't really done a whole lot. We got a bit of a pullback here. So price is holding below that 1465 mark. As long as it holds below, I am looking for it to drop further a bit towards the bottom of this range into 1450. And at that point, if it doesn't go through, we could see a move back into the range. But for now, bias is bearish. First target is 1450. And if it holds above, I will look for price to go back into the range. If not, it could drop further into 1435. So we just need to be careful. So here, bearish bias for gold. Oil here, oil hasn't really done a whole lot today. It went back and forth. So now it's holding below this 59.70 level here. So I'm neutral on this. It doesn't show a really bullish move or a bearish move, so no real trend at the moment. So we just need to wait and see. For now, I'm just looking for it to trade sideways, kind of between these two levels here. That's what I'm expecting, for it to trade between 59.60 and 58.20. Neutral bias for oil. Copper here, copper has moved up. It's right into the resistance though, and this is where price had turned. So even though we do have a bullish candle close here, I would be cautious with this one because if it does not break through the high of 2.72, we could see move back in. So I would say neutral bias for the moment for copper. If it stays below 2.72, I would look for price to move back down towards 2.68. But should it go through this 2.72 level, then it could go all the way into 2.76. But for the time being, as long as it stays below 2.72, I will look for a move lower towards 2.68 back into the bottom of the trend. Neutral bias here for copper. Bitcoin here, bearish candle close for the day. So we're likely to see a drop here. The first target here would be 7060, and then below that 6835. So bias is bearish for Bitcoin. All right, S&P 500 here. We do have a bearish candle close. Market was down today, and bias here is to the downside. Now, if we do get some positive comments in regards to US and China, that could push things higher here. And then other than that, I am looking for price to drop. So looking at 3116, so that's the first target into the base of this candle here. And should price drop further, second target here would be 3090. So if it goes through 3120, then I'm looking at 3090 as the second target. So bias is bearish for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, Nasdaq is also bearish. We do have a bearish candle close here, so I'm looking for a further drop. And target here is 82.60 and then 81.60. So bearish bias for Nasdaq. And then we have Dow Jones here. This is also bearish. We did see a drop in the market today. Looking for a further drop. 27,650 is the first target. And then 27,350 will be the second target. So bearish bias for Dow Jones. But if we see any kind of positive comments in regards to the US and China, all these equity indices are likely to turn based on any kind of positive comment. So just keep an eye on that. We're getting very, very close to when the tariffs are supposed to go on. And so far, there has been no trade deal, but that can change very, very quickly. So any comments in regards to that are also likely to produce a positive sentiment that can drive the markets up. But for now, if we do not get any sort of a trade deal by Friday, we're basically looking for price to drop for all the equity markets here. DAX here, DAX has dropped. Price was not able to break through this resistance. We do have a bearish engulfing candle here, so looking for price to drop further. Target is 12,900, so bearish bias here for DAX. For FTSE here, we do see that price moved higher, but it ran into resistance, and we have a bit of a pin bar here. So in this case, we could see a retest, and if price stays below 72.50, I will look for a drop. So bias is bearish. 71.30 is the target here for FTSE. All right, last but not least here, we have Nikkei. We have a bearish candle close. Price has been trading in this range for a number of weeks here. So today's candle close is bearish. I'm looking for price to drop. In this case, the first target here is 23,150. Second target is second target 22,950. So bias here is bearish for Nikkei as well. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I will see you again tomorrow evening. Bye for now.